Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should go ahead and subscribe so you are notified when a video goes live. You should join the Discord server if you guys want to talk with me and other My Hero fans. And this video is brought to you by my YouTube membership members and my patrons. And I'm actually going to mention that again because we are doing something a little bit different here. So if you guys don't know, basically what we're doing is that this video is going to be the discussion, or, you know, like my review, I guess, like how I feel about the movie. We're going to talk about the movie after I watch it. If you guys want to see my actual reaction, I'm going to keep that on Patreon and for YouTube membership members. And my reasoning was, I've seen other YouTubers do this, like I think Semblance of Sanity does this, where they'll do the reaction, like have the full reaction up on Patreon, and then their video, like that's on YouTube, will just be a discussion. So I've seen other YouTubers do this, but my reasoning is like watch time. Like, are the majority of you going to sit with me for an hour and a half and watch this movie? I don't know. Like, timer reactions are complicated as it is, right? And so my whole thing is like, okay, I will have the discussion here for the people that want to discuss. It'll be like a short, like 20-minute video, and that'll be okay, versus like a 2-hour video because I have to watch the movie and then do my discussion after. And like that's not gonna do anything for the YouTube algorithm, you know what I mean? Because it's all about like how long you guys watch and all that stuff. So I think that dividing it this way like makes a lot of sense. In terms of what I know about the movies, it is like literally nothing. Like I think in one of the movies there's a dance or something, because like I saw people in fancy clothes after one of the movies came out. I don't even know if that's a thing. Maybe it was something else. But I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this. The only thing I know is it's on Netflix and we're gonna watch it. Oh yeah, so I thought it may be a good idea to note that I have seen, you know, all of the My Hero Academia, like, anime. Like, so you guys don't think I'm just some random person who's just watching the movie without watching anything else, because I realized when I was like, what did I say? I was like, I don't know anything about this. I didn't mean, like, anything, you know what I mean? Like, you guys can go see my My Hero Academia reaction. They're there. I've caught up with the anime. I haven't caught up with the manga. So just to be clear, I've seen the anime. That's why we're watching this. I was afraid for a second. I was like, are people gonna think that I haven't like seen any My Hero Academia when I said I didn't know anything? So now, without further ado, remember, if you guys want to see the reaction, that'll be on Patreon or in the YouTube membership member like community tab thingy. Like, you guys will be able to find it, and I'm gonna cut here. I'm going to go watch it, and then we'll come back here for the discussion. Okay, let's go. Alright everyone, so my reaction has finished. Don't mind me. Tears were shed, mascara was smeared, so yeah, like, oh my god, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess the best place to start is at the beginning. Like, generally, that was like really, really good. Like, you guys know, and I talked about this at the end of my reaction, like, My Hero, it's not to say that, like, I really like the anime, but you guys know, like, it's not even, like, in my top 5, or, like, even top 10 of, like, my favorite anime, you know what I mean? Like, that being, like, my all-time favorite being Code Geass, right? And, you know, if you guys want to know my list, I'll probably write a list in the comments or something. But that being said, right, like, My Hero is not my favorite anime, but I felt, like, wholeheartedly invested in this movie. Like, I don't cry. Okay, I don't cry on camera. Like, the only times I can think of in recent memory, like, actually, like, shedding more than a tear, like, sometimes a tear will sneak out, but I can, like, you know, hold it together. You know what I mean? Madoka, like, there was a Madoka episode where there was, like, one single tear, like, rolling down my face and all that stuff. Like, I don't have prolonged tears, you know what I mean? The only thing I can think of is Code Geass. But in this movie, I cried, and multiple tears were shed, if you guys watch the reaction video. So it's like, I don't know what it was, but the movie was just so fucking good. It was just, I don't know, like, it was just so good. Like, it was so good, and I was invested all the way through. I did mention this again at the end of my reaction, but I think it's helpful to watch a movie versus watching an anime episode, like, multiple in a row. You know what I mean? Because I explained this, but when I record a reaction, say I want to record 3 reactions in one day to Madoka Magica, let's say, right? Like, I have to do my intro, I have to talk about last episode, then my reaction starts, then I do my outro. I feel like that it's so much easier to just sit down and be, like, invested in a movie for almost 2 hours, you know what I mean? An hour and a half, whatever. And so I feel like that really helped, like, versus, you know, other reactions I do. I think the movie format really, really helped me because I was able to just, like, basically after I started recording, I was able to sit down and, like, get invested for an hour and a half instead of, like, you know, an anime episode, it's after, like, 30 minutes. Like, 30 minutes, you're done. I thought that all the characters were enjoyable. Like, I like that everyone, basically everyone, we were missing some people, right? They let people shine in the movie because they knew in certain arcs, like, certain arcs were gonna focus on other characters that we didn't get to see more of. You know what I mean? Bakugo and Todoroki, like, they were around, but were they really around? Like, they weren't included in, like, the really big arc at the beginning of last season. You know what I mean? All the stuff with Eri and stuff like that. It was, like, other characters, right? And so I feel like, I don't know when they made the movie, but I feel like that they sort of gave people a chance to shine, and they have it on, like, almost a rotation. Like, oh, well, you know, these characters, we may not see them, like, during these scenes, so let's have the movie where they're, like, properly, like, showcased, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But, like, that's the most recent thing I can think of, is that Bakugo and Todoroki were kind of like, and then in the movie, they have a prominent spot. So I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know what season the movie came out between, if that makes sense, and so I don't know if that was intentional, but that was just something that I noticed while I was watching. I was like, yeah, like, we didn't really get to see a lot of Todoroki and Bakugo, so, like, this is my Todoroki and Bakugo fill, you know what I mean? And so that's sort of what I thought while watching it, and I feel like, even Mineta, you guys know, like, I really don't like Mineta, but I thought he was actually, like, tolerable. Like, I feel like it was actually kind of funny, like, how they wrote him in the movie, so I feel like everyone was consistent writing with how they are in the show, but it was just, like, their presence was, like, heightened, like, more enjoyable. So that's what I would say about, like, everyone. To talk about, like, new characters, like, I feel like Dave was a really good addition. I really like his whole thing. Like, they really developed him, even though he's just a sort of, like, this movie character, you know what I mean? Like, they gave him this whole history with All Might, and, like, he was his friend in America, and he, like, saved him, and that's how they became friends, and it made him a very compelling character at the end, because even though he's hired the villains to do all this stuff, he did it because he was trying to, like, save his friend. He was trying to rescue All Might, in a sense. And so I really, really like that. I think he was a really good, really well-developed character. I was like, at the beginning, I think I said this, but I was like, are Melissa and Dave gonna be in on this? Like, I think I said something like that. I hope she's not evil, like I was talking about Melissa. The assistant also gave me some weird vibes. If you guys watched the reaction, I sort of picked up on this, like, maybe, like, underlying resentment, like, assistant character. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you have assistants like that in, like, you know, superhero movies and stuff like that, like, the assistant that doesn't get the credit they deserve. I was like, like, I don't know if this guy is gonna be all good, you know what I mean? So, I really liked Dave. I already said that. The assistant character, I think his name was Sam. I mean, he wasn't really, you know what I mean? Like, he was more the twisty twist, he was betraying Dave as well, I guess, in a sense, right? Melissa, I thought Melissa was amazing. She's beautiful. She's smart. Like, what is there not to love? Like, I just really, really enjoyed her character. I think it was really good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about her. Like, I definitely ship her with Deku. Like, I know that Deku and, in Uraraka, like, they have the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have some stuff going on, but, like, I ship them. I think Melissa and Deku is a cute ship, and what I felt really bad about, and I would love to see this explored, you know, at a later time, I guess, or, like, even in a fanfic, but, like, it would be interesting to see Melissa's reaction to the knowledge that All Might could have given her, right? All Might could have given her his, cork, if that makes sense, so she could have been a hero, but instead they gave it to Deku, right? And she seems fine, like, she has another dream, it's okay, but, like, I would really, really like, I really want that to be explored, because that's something I thought would happen, and it kind of didn't. Like, I feel like after all this, she would realize, like, something special in Deku and all that stuff, but that's something that I would really, really like to see sort of circle back in the future, is, like, Melissa finding out that the cork is inherited, and then her being like, well, you know, you're my fucking godfather, like, why didn't you give me your cork when you knew I didn't have one? Like, that would sort of be an interesting arc for her to go on, like, that anger, and then her realizing that maybe Deku is best suited for it. Does that make sense? Like, I would really enjoy that. I don't know how you guys guys feel about that, but I would like that. You know, just something like that. I don't know if they want to do like another movie or something, because I don't think she would turn bad. Like, she's a very pure-hearted soul and stuff, but I would like to see her reaction to that information, you know, because I think even Deku, like, Deku looked like he felt a little bad. She was explaining to him how, you know, she was corkless, but luckily she has another dream and stuff. Like, Deku looked, he had like a kind of guilty look on his face, and so I would really like to see that play some sort of role, like, in the future if they decide to bring her back as a character. I would really, really like to see that, especially because I could see that, like, you know, All Might pick some random kid, like, some random kid off the street instead of his, like, godchild, right? Because they're not actually related, but she calls him uncle, so I'm assuming it's, like, a godfather, like, godmother thing and all that stuff. And so yeah, like, keeping that in mind, I would be pretty pissed, right, if my uncle chose some random kid off the street instead of me. And so I think that would be a really, really interesting thing to explore in the future. I would really like to see that. In terms of the villain, like, that villain didn't really have all that much development. I think that's okay. He had a nice voice. I don't know if it was actually Hawkmoth. I'll have to go check. I don't know, every bad guy sounds like Hawkmoth, but when he was like, damn brats, like, it kind of sounded like Hawkmoth and then the bad guy from Persona 5, they all share the same voice actor, right? And so that's what it reminded me of, like, the damn brats, I'll sue, like, if you guys have played Persona. And so yeah, like, on the villain front, like, they weren't the most interesting part. Like, the most interesting part of the movie was seeing everyone fight against them. Does that make sense? Like, in a sense, like, they weren't really the villains. Like, they were the villains by the end, but the most compelling character for the antagonist was actually Dave. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say about them specifically, like, the villains. It is interesting that it is connected to, like, you know, the big bad guy. The big bad guy that's in the show somehow. I like that they tied that in. I think that's why they look at each other by the end. I think that they look at each other because they know that he's pulling the strings now, you know what I mean? And they have this look, like, All Might and Deku look at each other and there's still the bad guys out there, you know, the big bads, right? And so that's what I was thinking, or I guess I'm thinking that now, like, I think that that's why they shared that sort of look. But yeah, the villains weren't all that important. They were just a vessel for the character development, like, for all the other characters. Generally, I think that it was really, really good to see everybody fight, right? See Todoroki, Bakugo, like, everyone fight. Everyone's strengths were utilized, and I feel like that was really good. Like, oh god, I'm forgetting her name for a second. I'm having a brain fart. I remember who she is, but, like, the earphone Jack thing and, like, Momo stuff, like, everyone had a chance to shine, even Mineta. And like I said, Mineta wasn't as insufferable. Like, I feel like all the characters were consistent, but they also, like, shined really well. And I thought that was really, really nice. So I think all the characters, like, all of them get a good A+ from me. And I think obviously, like, it was centered on Deku a lot, and, like, Deku sort of, you know, like, really coming into being All Might's successor, like the whole show is. Like, that's basically what the whole show is about. But I think that, you know, when you see Dave and he sees Deku the same way as he used to see All Might, like, I thought that was really moving. I thought, like, the movie was, like, moving. Like, it was tense when it was supposed to be tense. It was funny. Like, I laughed a lot, so I felt like that was good. And, like, it was just very moving. Like I said, I cried a couple times. And so I feel like that it had all the aspects that made it really, really good. I do like how they sort of tied in I guess what the villains were doing into the sort of season 4 type plot, like all this stuff with, you know, now we have the idea of drugs that can take away a quirk and then also enhance the quirk, and they want to put these drugs on the market and all that stuff. Like, the movie tied into that really, really well, because now we know, like, oh, they wanted the device to do it that way maybe, or they wanted the device to compete, but instead, like, they didn't get the device, and so they were doing the drugs, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I sort of imagine that. So yeah, I really like that tie-in as well. Like, it all just makes sense. Like, it feels like it could have been an arc in the anime. Like, it all makes sense, like, for the universe, and I feel like that's really, really important. But yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Like, a 10 out of 10, highly would recommend. I mean, I don't think anyone's watching this as a review, because I would have spoiled you on all the big stuff that's happening. The fight scenes were great. Like, I just really enjoyed myself, and if you guys want to see that, remember, the reaction is on Patreon. You guys can go check that out. But otherwise, I think that I'm good. I think that I've, you know, said everything I've needed to say. And yeah, that is basically all from me. If you guys have any more questions for me, remember that you guys can ask them in the comments. So if I didn't cover something, just because, like, I'm on the adrenaline of finishing the movie, you know what I mean? So if I forgot about something, you guys can ask. And so yeah, that is basically it from me. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!